My name's Steve.
My name's Arnez.
And today we're going to go over our top 5 most disappointing figures of 2019.
All right, so before we get into this list, why is the Monster Arts up there, Steve?
Why not?
Touche. Why
You
not?
got anything? Like, we have to start somewhere, right? But anyways, we're just going to go over some honorable mentions real quick. Speaking of Monster Arts, we have... Don't hear me decent. This, we knew what we were getting. I can't be disappointed with it. I was already like well aware of what I was purchasing to begin with. But some honorable mentions are the Monster Arts Rodan and Mothra, which we haven't gotten yet, but we've seen photos. So I'm already sad.
People are upset with them.
But we'll get more into that once they come in, and then we'll talk about that more in the best of, because, spoiler alert, something shows up in there. And then the Figma Megumin from Konosuba, because the thing, well, not a bad figure, but engineering-wise, it fell apart easy. Like it has a hard time holding the stand, or the staff, if you will. So while it came with a bunch of stuff, I didn't mind. And then starting with our number 5, because we'll get the Monster Arts Godzilla out of here.
He deserves better than this list.
Yeah. Number 5 is going to be the Figma Goblin Slayer. Now, the reason why we decided to go with this over Megumin, and it was kind of like
a tie.
You could flip it a coin. But decided to go with this because it's not like it's a bad figure per se. Like, as a figure, thing is gorgeous if it ever focuses.
It's got good details.
Yeah, paint job's good. The articulation, it works more or less. Had some issues getting some of the stuff on, like the shield is a pain in the butt. But it's like when you buy them, this is it.
This is all you get.
Everything. Well, not everything. Like I could put the club with him, which Whipty2, he used it in one episode.
Yeah.
But it's like, he doesn't come with, like, the fire eye thing. We don't get a goblin for him to murder.
You get nothing.
Yeah, it's just, like, it's cool. And I wanted to get because, like, I enjoyed the anime and I'm supporting it to hopefully they make more stuff from it. But when the Nendroid is a better figure than this,
wah, wah, wah.
It hurts. It hurts a little. So that's why, like, the Nendroid Megumin is pretty cool, but, like, I still like the Figma, while this was, like, the role reverse. And for me being a big fan of this line in general, him had a hard time vouching. Now, am I sad I bought it? No, like, clearly I still own it. But it just didn't blow me away as some of the other Figmas did this year. Alright, so next for number 4, we have the Sofubi Anti from Good Smile Company. No, the reason why I decided to put this one on here is mainly due to the fact that Godzilla was just the better vinyl between the two of these.
Yeah.
Do you concur?
Yeah, he was.
And he was also cheaper. And Godzilla, like standing next to the Figma grid band, looks great. Like they almost look like they are meant to be together, which is kind of like what I feel like these should have been. Is just like really nice looking statues.
Yeah. That
just like a little bit of posability. You put them next to your Figma, you're good to go. While this one, that seam line.
Question is it worth the value, Steve?
Yeah, it's just like, it's got that seam line there, which is cool that it has articulation, but it just stands out like a sore thumb, which, granted, I kind of like because it reminds me of like old vinyls, but then again, I'm paying $40. Well, even like more than 40 because you got to figure shipping and whatnot, and then I get...
It was over 50 for sure with shipping and everything.
Yeah, and I just get really nicely detailed vinyl, and it's just... And even like, it's not like the posability just like doesn't work.
At this price and this point in time, I would rather pay 10 extra bucks and get like really decent statue because it would be better detailed than this.
Yeah, well, even like I like the detail, but like I think it should have been in more like an action pose, if you will. Like instead of just basis stagnant pose. Like if it could have been in like some like the arms bending a bit and him like striking a pose, and then you could rotate to adjust it a little bit, I think I would have been way more forgiving. When there's cheaper versions of other monsters, and they're not even like the cooler monster. Godzilla is just kind of like a whatever kaiju from the series. Anti was the sweet one, and it just kind of hurts that he was just not as good. not as good. And she's not interested. Already showing. Oh, gosh, showing the problems.
Oh, God. We haven't even started talking about she's falling apart.
Just sit there for a minute. I gotta zoom out a bit. All right. Next, for number 3 is the Horror Shoujo's Hellraiser Pinhead from Kotobukiya. Now, this actually something my wife bought.
She make a bad choice? Yes, she did.
I feel like it because like she's really into this line, and like I'm okay with it because it's like horror movie chicks. Sign me up, right? I'm usually on board with this stuff, but when this figure came in, I was like, okay, it's cool. Like the stand looks pretty neat. All right, but Hellraiser was never really quite my horror movie, but to each their own, I guess.
Out of all the horror movies, that like the horror movie line where it's like Freddy, Jason, you know, Candyman, stuff like that, this would be the bottom one out of those guys.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'd probably put it above Candyman.
No. Candyman was pretty good compared to this line.
Yeah, and we also can't say the name too many more times.
Oh, God.
But main issues that I have with this in particular is the stand is terrifying. Wow, looks cool. As you've seen, like, it's only really held in right here at the skirt section, and then the tiniest of pegs on her foot, as you can see, isn't even really doing its thing, and then once you start messing with that starts popping out, and then her foot's back out again, and, like, she's just super terrifying.
So you're saying that she got a number 3 on this list just because of Stan Steve?
Well, that and for her head.
Oh.
As you can see.
The camera can't even focus how hideous it is.
Yeah, well, it's super white, so it's just really bright on the camera. But as you guys might be able to tell, but some of the skull is lifted up on the head. And that's the way that they decided to assemble it. And just like, it's one of those figures that like the closer you get up to it, the less appealing it's starting to look, which is not something for a expensive import statue I should really be concerning myself. Like if this was like a NECA and it turned out like this, I paid like $20-30, okay. But once we start getting into like her head's got some imperfections and I just want to keep her as far back in the shelf as humanly possible so I don't notice any of the imperfections.
Okay, if it was NECA price, it wouldn't be on here. Just saying.
Yeah, then I would just be like, whatever, you know. Like it may be like a Diamond Select or something. It's like one of those statues. But the more even me touching it right now, the more concerned I get about damaging this thing. And then I don't need Jessica coming downstairs and ripping me a new one. So, anyways, on to number 2. All right, for number 2. You guys might have been aware of this one because I think this is the only one we've actually reviewed that was just a negative response in general. Is the Good Smiles DX Max Gridman.
Which I'm a little worried at first because it was tied between this one and number 1, but number 1 just had to have the number 1 spot.
I think number 1 is a better figure, but I was just more, I think, disappointed just by of what it is.
Yeah.
While this was like, it's a part forming sort of like Power Ranger-esque character like thing going on. And the main reason I decided to go with this one is because of the larger scale. But once we got it in and started trying to assemble it, and like that doesn't even stay in. Oh look, that barely stays in.
Oh, don't break it now.
It's kind of got the same issue that I have with the Hellraiser, where just stuff just likes to fall off randomly. And while it looks kind of cool, like once you get it assembled on the shelf, the Gridman on the undersection is just very disappointing. The hands are like a model kit and you have to assemble yourself. You have to put all these stickers on it. And once we're getting into, I think I paid like about $160 for this.
Yeah.
Why am I putting so much effort into an action figure that like almost should have just been a model kit at this point? And that's not what I signed up for. And then, like, the Gridman underneath can't even pose very well and just doesn't look good. And it had unsightly screw holes that you can kind of see on it. And I don't know. It definitely didn't click for me.
God, no. Not for the price, at least.
No, again, it's just one of those, like, guys, like, I've just put together. I got his chest thing in, and he just sits behind all the other Gridman figures.
Wah, wah, wah.
Which, the series... collectibles have definitely been like ups and downs for me in terms of how pleased I've been with them. Like the Nendroids I was pretty happy with. The Figmas I thought were great. The Make-Out statue was good.
Yeah.
But then it's like, this thing sucked. There was the Bandai Spirits one, which was like super expensive, super tiny, and those were kind of meh. So it's been a road. It's been a road traveled with these guys. But yeah, this is definitely one of the, I think was like the only figure we reviewed that was just like a straight up, just don't buy this. Just, there's another option. I recommend just getting that thing. Save yourself a little bit of money. I seen this is getting a repaint reissue. So it must have did well.
Really?
But then I seen, like, after I bought it, the thing, like, tanked to, like, $60 pre-owned. And I'm just like, I wish I would have waited. I wish I would have waited. And that's not where I want to be with a toy.
Steve broke number one. No!
Number one just falling apart, tipping all over everything. Because it's what it does. Anyways, number one. I'm going to get it on the table.
And then we're going to have to adjust the camera. Or
move
we're leave
things.
it like that.
I think I might just leave it like that because, like, it's just like, I could try to stand it, but it ain't gonna work for me. I'm gonna be sitting here for like an hour trying to do it. But we have the SH Monster. It's Ghidorah 2019.
Oh boy, Steve, here comes the hate on
All right,
it.
I'm gonna try to adjust. I'm not gonna move about it. We're just gonna sit here and talk and explain my thought process. Is hold it.
Any day now, Steve.
Wings back. Wings back. Get some weight in the front. This ain't working for me.
There's tails everywhere. What happened?
All right, I think we're good. I think we're good. The head is supporting the body. We're fine because smart me didn't bring the extra stands down. But anyways, yeah, this thing.
All right, Steve. Now explain yourself before we really take a hit on all the negative comments.
All right, so first and foremost, this guy runs you about 180-ish.
Right now?
Well, right now, I think you can actually get them a little cheaper. I've seen pre-owned.
No way.
I've seen pre-owned cheaper. But at 180, this is easily second most expensive Monsters figure for starting price.
Now, we understand he does have a hefty size to him, so...
He's also probably the largest. Like, Biollante probably, like, I don't even know weighs more because these wings are heavy. But just size-wise, easily the biggest Monsters figure. And still, like, decently articulated. It looks like the kaiju from the film. But there's just so many, like, design choices with this thing that just really, I think, affected it in the end. For instance, the color palette for this kaiju is very bland. It could have maybe used a little bit more detailing with the coloring to make some of the details pop a little bit better, because it's just like...
There's bootlegs of him for $70. Him is like starting bid at $289 on eBay, Steve.
Well, yeah, you don't do eBay.
Well, let me see.
I'm pretty sure you could find them in stock on some places, or just import them. You can still import. Like, you can find them on, like, used import sites for reasonable. Which, yeah, 280. I wouldn't want to pay 280 for this thing.
Right.
But like, if you guys,
last one sold, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Of legit one was $210 plus $30 shipping on eBay, and then a bootleg one that sold for $35.
yeah, but it's not hard to get people to pay more on eBay.
You think so?
I got $230 for a Figma Midoriya. I don't think it's that hard.
Okay, there's a lot of suckers out there.
Anyways, I'm not saying I ripped the guy off, but it was like I put a starting bid. I think of $60 because it's what I paid for it. Just kind of let it go. And it got there. But it just like it could have used more like highlightings for the detailing, because it's just most of the figures fairly bland. The stuff pops off easy, which ball jointing problems, I get it. But when the wings are fairly common on this thing, that they just don't hook on very well.
Yeah.
Because of a design choice. I have Mod Podge on top of those wings so that they stay in fairly snug. Otherwise, that wing would be falling off right now. And with it being the material that it is fairly fragile. And then tails, like the ball joints for the tails don't properly hook in, which it's not even a ball joint problem. It's a design in this freaking tail that this thing should have been longer to begin with so that it could actually stay on the tail. So unless I have it in one position, it won't stay on the tail. And that one position means he can't stand normally.
My problem with him is that if he takes a swan dive, which with this figure is a very high chance it will, If he falls, he will break apart. The wings, because the way it's designed, the pieces will just break easily.
Yeah, and to me, it's just like, it's a monster, so I'm buying it because I want to pose it. You want to play with it.
And you're not allowed to with this figure.
Yeah, for me, it's almost like a glorified statue. Like, I have to get the legs and the tails in one position.
Perfect.
I can kind of play with the necks a little bit. And that's it. It's not like I'm going to really be like adjusting the wings and stuff. I've seen people bend the wings down and use that to support the kaiju, and that kind of scares me. And yeah, it's just at the price point, and from what I was expecting from the line, it just didn't live up for me. While, yeah, again, I think the Gridman figure is just a worse figure. And this one, we still recommend it. Like, if you like the movie enough,
You'll get it.
You should still buy it. But it's just not, just know what you're getting into. And then, like, for the price, like, it's a big kaiju. Like, at 180, he's still the largest Monster Arts figure.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of like you win some, you lose some. But for me, anyways, and especially after watching the movie, I was just, like, so jacked for this thing to come in. And then, as soon as I opened the box and that wing fell off, it was just like...
That was the kick in the nuts.
And then, trying to pose it for photos, which usually takes me about like a half hour to get like the photos for the end. 2 hours later trying to do it with this guy just to get some 8 shots.
The pain was real, people.
Yeah, this was why I really like when I dread getting this thing out of the shelf for comparisons. You know you got a problem. Yeah. But let us know in the comment section below, what was your guys' least exciting, disappointing, whatever you want to call it, worst figure of 2019, or what's your guys' favorite, because we'll be having that video up here in the near future, because we'll start with the worst and move on to the great ones.
So they'll be rocking there, the great one?
Nah, he came out like a year or two ago. Even though we just got him, we can't have him on the list. And help us defeat those kaiju by hitting the like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. See you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.